Hello and welcome to the Save It for the podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Neiman, and joined with me today is
Ronald McDonald!
right, the clown himself is here to join us today on our special.
Quit my job as a mascot, and I've started my life once again as a pro wrestler.
That's great, Ronald. Tell us, what was the transition like going from kid clown to professional wrestler?
Well, let me tell you something. It was a bit bumpy here and there, but you know what? Since I'm now used to my life as a wrestler, I'm loving it.
There you
Don't sue
go.
us, McDonald's.
There you go. Wow, that's great.
This was completely for humor purposes. We do not own or claim to own McDonald's. Please do not sue us, McDonald's. We would be very happy if you do not sue us.
Oh yes.
Right.
Oh yes.
We have the most purest of intentions using the holy name of Ronald McDonald inside of our humble podcast.
That's right. Yeah, we basically put him on the same pedestal as Jesus and God. All right, so there's that.
There you go. The Holy Trinity: Ronald McDonald and Ronald Reagan. You know what?
Yeah,
those are the there we go. In our Republican podcast, those are the Holy Trinity.
That's right.
If I do say so myself, the logic behind the Holy Trinity inside the Holy Trinity is beyond me.
Yeah,
let's
make America great. Because that was a phrase Reagan used.
Yeah, sure. My heart sank as you said that. I was like, just, oh gosh. Even using it ironically at this point is painful. But you know what? We're not here to talk about that. This is not the Can of Worms episode. This is the OG episode. So, hello, I'm Eren.
That took that long to get your name. Gosh darn it.
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, my goodness.
I am sorry, Neiman. Will you ever forgive me?
Never.
All right. Damn. Well, that's the podcast, everybody.
Well, yeah, we're done.
That's the podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and with this 8.5 episodes and 5 Can of Worms episode later, yep, this is how the podcast ends, everybody.
Oh wow. That got gross.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, like, you know what? That can be a
Can of Worms episode.
That can be a quick summary of this podcast. Well, that got gross, you know.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, talking about dilfs in the first episode, just like right up.
Yeah,
you know what?
Setting ourselves.
Dilf isn't the bad word, okay? It's just a word you can't Google on you.
That's right. Yeah, there's a difference, okay?
Yeah, there's a difference.
No.
Yeah.
If you can,
it's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you, if you can Google the word safely on images, then it's probably okay. Right?
You know, I don't want to gamble by Googling DILF on Google Images, but you know what? I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure it's good and nice and kosher because of... Well, what's DILF anyway? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Do you know? I don't know.
No, not at all. Not at all, step bro. Not at all.
No, stop. Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. Stop, step bro.
No. We were joking about that before the podcast started, and now it's coming back to bite us in the word that I can't use because it's not a Can of Worms episode. But anyway, what you drinking there, Neiman?
Oh, just blood. It's not blood. It's coffee.
Respectable, honestly, dude.
But you know
what? Speaking of blood.
But actually, speaking of blood.
Oh, damn.
Okay, it's not bad. I woke up. Well, that got gross. I woke up at 8:30 this morning, or initially, and
I haven't off-brand for you.
It is very off-brand
Not
for
gonna
me,
lie.
and I had not waken up at 8:30 for several months now. But the reason I did wake up was because I had another one of my classic nosebleeds, where it was
Oh
one of
no.
those really bad ones where it was like clogging up my sinuses, so I couldn't
Oh my
breathe,
gosh.
which is why I had to wake up at 8:30. So I woke up at 8:30. I looked at my shirt. I was like, "Huh, I think that's a blood stain." And then I was like, "Wait a second, my nose is bleeding. I can't breathe." And so that's why I always have tissues next to my bedstand, because I
Right.
always have nosebleeds. And so I, was doing this, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like, why do I have to be up this more like early in the morning? And I was so angry and just grumpy. And I had to go downstairs and, greet my parents, who are usually awake at that time. But,
Right.
but they were like, Neiman, why are you awake? It's like, you don't usually wake for like another, 4 hours. And I was like, oh yeah, nosebleed and all that. And so then I went back upstairs, and the whole debacle was like, 30 minutes, which sucked because it was like, just imagine, not
Yeah.
having access to your nose for 30 minutes. It's horrible.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then finally stopped, after a while. And then I was like, oh my God, I am going back to sleep. And so then I did. And then I finally woke up again, had breakfast, and here we are.
Man, I mean, sleep is whack for many reasons, and we have talked about this before, but it's like you can literally wake up and have your like arm turned inside out, and you just look at it and be like, "Oh, that's new." Like it's it's amazing what can happen while you're sleeping. And like getting sick while sleeping is like an
Hmm.
experience, you know? It's like you fall asleep healthy and you like wake up just like, you know, dying. Oh, 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 oh.
I muted for that, so
I know you did. So you don't have to say excuse me.
I guess not this
That's
time.
that's that's so on brand for you. Why are you so nice? It pisses
Hey,
me off.
your
Ugh.
punishment's over, Aaron. So
I
you can.
know, but it still reminds me of how like how inadequate I am in the in the like the
That.
good manners department.
Hey, well, you know what? Excuse me.
You
I'll tell you what. I
I'm
gotta
gonna,
keep my habit
one of
up.
these days I'm just gonna like punch a hole through my laptop because of how like nice you are. Now I'm gonna punch a hole through my laptop out of appreciation.
I appreciate you. Oh, I love you so much. You're so
I
kind.
know.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like you know how you see something so cute that
You
you
want to
don't
like
know how to
eat it?
respond to it. Yeah, so it just triggers a fight response because it's so gosh darn cute.
Mm. Oh
Like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my like uh
Reaction.
reaction to that, like you're so goddamn nice, I freaking hate it, but I
Oh yeah.
appreciate it, it's making me frustrated. So yeah.
Yeah.
um but yeah, man, I remember this one time I had a cold that was so bad. Like, I like how I sounded when I was saying that. I had a cold that was like so bad. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I had a cold that was so bad that like I literally hit puberty because of that cold. Like my voice changed forever because of that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just woke up. Like I think it was like 8th grade or something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
I
Yeah.
just woke up and I went downstairs, right? And I was like tired. I like every single part of my body was hurting, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? I didn't even exercise yesterday." And
Mm-hmm.
I went into the kitchen and I like my mom saw me and she greeted me like she was like good morning. And
And you're like, good
in my
morning.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, I was expecting to go, good morning. No, I straight up went like, good morning.
Macho. Yeah.
Just like, Iron Giant,
Yeah. The
the movie.
movie. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like where he tries to speak, but it's just like,
Oh yeah, it's like
like incomprehensible metal noises. Just, just that was what happened.
mm-hmm.
You know?
That's funny.
Oh man. And it was so bad. I just stayed in bed for 3 days and it didn't get any better. And it
Yeah.
felt like I literally had a boulder just stuck in my throat. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
man.
I wonder if that's like a thing that like happens to a lot of at least guys, because the same exact thing happened to me. I feel like
Yeah.
where I felt like there was something in my throat, and I was like, "Am I sick? Do I have the flu? Like, what's going on here?" And then
Did I swallow like a
afterwards,
frog when I was asleep? Who
yeah,
knows?
exactly, right. Like
It's
I could have.
puber. Yeah.
Right. And then lo and behold, it was puberty. And like I came out of it, exactly, like you. And I was like, hey guys. I had like the
Hey
macho,
guys, what's up? Yeah.
like the straight TikTok, like deep voice guy, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm new, man. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and it was so jarring too, because I noticed it too. I was like,
Right.
this is not what my voice sounds like. But eventually I just came to terms with it.
Yeah.
And I think this was before. I think this was also in around 8th grade for me, because I don't remember my voice being as high in like when I was doing like comedy sports and like theater, for example. I think my
Right.
voice was already deep by then, because I feel like if it happened during those times, and I would have like had to make a conscious effort to have to like, I guess, change my voice to
Mm-hmm.
something more, or I guess that was a weird phrasing,
Mm-hmm.
but like,
Change it back. Change it back.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like I would have to do this in order to, get a more, high pitched, or not high pitched, but like higher register voice,
Right.
as opposed to, just
As
talking in
opposed
this,
to this,
yeah, lower
sweet
register
hunking mass
voice.
of a voice.
Yeah,
Aha.
exactly. I don't always speak in this voice, but when I do, it's
But
when I
when I do,
have a 6-pack and massive pecs.
okay.
Yeah, if I
There you
do
go. Yeah.
eventually get, either of those things, I will definitely
Woof.
speak like that.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ripped. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh
Um,
man.
but it's funny. I distinctly remember it's so strange being on the other side of things after you finished it, because, I distinctly remember my junior and senior years of high school. I remember experiencing all of the people, um, that were like freshmen or sophomores,
Right.
having their voice changed, particularly the men, of course. But it was just so like interesting to hear, just because they, before the summer they'd be like, "Hi, Neiman," and then afterwards they're like, "Hi, Neiman."
Greetings, my friend Neiman.
Yeah,
Ah,
exactly. And I'd be like
have
a
you
parent.
fared?
Yeah, right. And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you've grown so tall, and your voice is so deep." And I felt like, the quirky aunt who's like, "Oh my god,
Oh
you've
my
grown
god!
so much.
It's been so long. My
Oh my
when
god, give auntie kisses, please."
I kind of tried to do a Boston accent, but like my brain went sideways and started doing like a London accent, so I had to stop myself.
Yeah, accents,
And
they can go haywire.
actor problems, man. Actor problems.
Exactly, actor
There you go.
problems. That's why I was so scared of, trying to do accents during theater, because A, I didn't
Right.
think it was going to be accurate, and B, I have that exact tendency of wanting to switch for whatever reason. Happens all the time in my improv.
Right.
So,
But like for me, it's like, I can't do Northern American accents, like Boston accent, I can't do that. Canada
oh
accent,
yeah,
I can't do that. Like, and I can do a Texan accent, but you know what? I choose not to most of the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that, though, like, just for example, when I played Dante. in the in the one play that shall not be named.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop whoop. Uh, like I just started doing an accent, and the director liked it, so I stuck with it, and you know what, it worked out in the end. But you know what, Dante's Inferno is the punchline. Ha 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 ha
Oh,
ha ha.
yeah.
But yeah, let's let's
It's like
not have
a.
this be an accent episode. I'm not ready. I'm not mentally ready for that.
Oh, neither am I.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the great thing, I think one of the great things about improv and accents is
Mm.
that it's a lot more encouraged, I guess, in improv to do an accent, just because, I mean, a person after the show isn't going to be like, oh, that one scene you did in the entire show, that was a French accent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so the great thing about that is that even if you try an accent, they're not going to know what it is or what you're trying to do. They're just going to know that it was not a regular,
There you
American
go. They
accent.
can literally
So
come up to you after the show and be like, "Oh, what accent was that?" And you can be like, "French, German, Italian,
exactly.
Russian." Yep, see you.
Yeah, exactly. And Maritala French,
Yep.
Spanish. Yeah.
Best thing about
So
Improv City, they give you a free smoke bomb so that you can disappear without a trace in a dramatic fashion.
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
there you go. So
Yeah.
whenever someone asks you about an accent or just asks you what you were trying to do in that scene, you just and you're gone.
Exactly. Yeah. I
There.
mean, I can go off on a whole 3 episodes on improv and everything about improv because
There
I've
you
thought
go,
about it a lot, but
man.
we'll close it
Like
there.
when we have like a proper fan base, you can't like give improv lessons. Do it. I dare you.
I hope to. I mean, right before quarantine, I think I've
Right.
talked about this. Right before quarantine, I was about to start volunteering to teach at a local high school,
That's
some
right.
improv.
You taught at Woodbridge at some point, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and I was,
remember.
yeah, yay. And it was
Yeah.
literally my first week was literally the Tuesday. So literally the day before, Governor Newsom
Oh
announced
my
the
gosh.
quarantine order, and I was like, why did this have to happen right now? And it was so and I I was so into it, and my mentors at Improv City were like, Neiman, you did great. Can you do this? In the weeks to come, and we'll help you out. And I was like, yes, I totally would love to do it. And it was
Dude,
just,
as soon as quarantine is over, dive back into that.
I'm hoping.
Honestly, like
Yeah, I mean,
you give like the cool teacher vibes left and right.
oh,
You know
do
what I'm
I?
saying?
Oh,
Yep,
like the
like
ones who have tattoos and and vape and
I
are like, hey, it's okay, guys. Like that cool
like
teacher vibe, or like,
not that, like more like the cool teacher that you can literally like go up to and call them by their first name, and they're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I
mm,
saw that movie,"
mhm.
like get into a
Ah,
conversation
yes,
with
yes,
them
yes, yes.
because that's true. You're easy to get into a conversation with.
Oh,
You're a friendly
thanks,
person. There you go.
thanks.
And then this
At least I
episode of
hope to.
Compliments Podcast.
Yeah. And Eren is an
No, no,
excellent conversationalist
no,
as well. My
no,
goodness. I don't
no.
think
I
I've ever.
suck. I suck so bad.
And you swallow. So be proud of
Whoa
it.
there! This is not the can of worms episode.
There are that's just a statement of fact. You can suck
Yeah,
and swallow.
you were referring to my water bottle, weren't you?
Yes, I
Yeah, there you go.
was.
Speaking of water bottle, hydrate, y'all.
Yes, please hydrate. Please, it is very, very important.
There you go.
Yes, that is what I was referring to.
Hydrate while you bring about the destruction of society and the rebuilding thereof. Anyway, so
Yeah, if there's
yeah,
anything we need to keep, it's water.
it's water indeed. But I was about to make a joke about how like currently not even water is provided, but you know what? So like we can't actually keep it. But you know what? This is not a Cat Worms episode, so let's just like tippy toe our way around that, you know, batch of worms, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, you have your coffee.
I do, which I finished.
Oh, nice. Well, you know what I didn't finish? And this is not an innuendo. I didn't finish my tea for once. We're 20 minutes in and I still have my tea because I'm using the big cup instead of the tiny cups that I normally use. This thing is the size of my head.
Wow, look at that. It's a man cup. That's what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Wow.
But yeah, like this thing is full of tea, and by the end of today, I'm gonna be full of tea, and it's just gonna be either a really fun time or a really not fun time. We shall see. I also have my water bottle because hydration.
Good.
And I do believe we have a question.
Yes, we do. We do have a question. So our question came from our form, and our question is this. What is your stance on TikTok? Do you love it, hate it, can't get enough? And also, when is the podcast getting a TikTok? So, in my opinion, this seems like this question is heavily leaning towards us getting a TikTok at the end of this episode.
Yeah, there you go. Before we really get into this question, though, I just want to say I really like the momentum this episode is going. Not gonna lie, really high energy. I'm loving it. I'm just saying, Neiman. I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah. Answer the question.
Do you want me to go first?
You are the resident TikTokie, so
that is true. That is true. So stance on TikTok. I'll be honest. At first, I was skeptical. I was probably like a lot of other people when it first came out. We had this conversation, right, about when it came out.
I do believe we have, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2018 or something, right? Or something crazy like that.
Yes. Yeah,
because I thought it came out.
Yeah, we did have that conversation, and I did look it up, and I remember that it came out in China around in 2016.
Oh, right.
And like it slowly made its way over to America. And I'm just looking it up right now. September 2017. Sorry.
Yeah,
no, I'm sorry.
Enough.
September 2017 was when it was launched on international markets. And yeah. Oh, this is interesting. I think they edited the article that I was looking at.
Nice.
So, yeah, there we go. It was after a rebranding, it was released to China in September 2016. And it was eventually merged with Musical.ly, and it came to America from there. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was very skeptical at first. Excuse you. I had to. I'm sorry.
You've infected me with your niceness.
Usually, actually, I would personally find that. If someone said that to me, I personally would find that rude, but I can see where you're coming at.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just one of those weird quirks I have where, like, for example, sorry to go on a little bit of a tangent, but for some reason, I really don't like the word bud or buddy. You know what I mean? I know
unless it's used in a different way. Anyway, but
yes,
I think you're referring to the use of it with friend.
Yeah,
like that kind of way.
Yeah, like that kind of buddy. The reason I don't like it is because it seems very demeaning to me, and I know it's well intentioned. But it just seems very like, it's like the
now listen here, bud. Haha.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something about trucks and why you suck, or something like that kind of thing.
Or exactly. Or you don't call your coworker Squirt. Hey Squirt. Like that's something you reserve for like younger people, and I feel like buddy and bud should go under that category as well. Just because I
Right.
feel like,
Like,
when you
yeah,
say
hey, little buddy. Like that.
exactly,
Yeah.
right?
There
And,
you go.
or, you don't call your coworker sport, right? Like, hey,
Or like,
sport.
yeah, that.
So,
Oh gosh. Ew. I mean, it kind of like sport. I can understand because it kind of has like the haha, friendly. Haha, I'm trying to make
right, right,
conversation
right,
with
right.
you about sports by calling you sport. But
Yeah. Or, if you want to talk about video games, hey, video game.
gosh, whenever I want to talk video games with someone, I just go up to them and go, "Hey, gay."
Yes,
So
exactly.
TikTok.
So TikTok. Yeah, that is what we were talking about.
That was a wide tangent.
It was a very wide tangent, but
My gosh.
gotta get it out there.
You gotta get it out of our
Otherwise,
systems, bud.
it. Gosh darn it! Now you found my pet peeve, Aaron. Gosh darn
Oh
it.
man, ladies and gentlemen, we
We
got
got
him.
him.
We got him. We got his pet peeve. Whenever he says "excuse me," I'm just gonna say, "Oh, no problem, bud."
Excuse you. My goodness.
Oh, sorry
We're just
there,
gonna
bud.
annoy the freaking heck out of each other with this.
Oh, I'm annoying you. Oh, sorry there, bud.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh my god, I'm gonna abuse the hell out of this.
I feel like I'm gonna regret revealing this information to the world. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But please
But yeah,
excuse me
TikTok.
for the tangent.
Oh, no problem, bud.
I'm going to continue my conversation about TikTok. So TikTok.
we're gonna like end the episode at each other's throats, like
Yeah, you'll be punching me and I'll be choking you.
like
So,
yeah,
through
you'll be
the
so,
screen.
like, call me bud one more time.
Yeah, and you're so good at it too.
Oh god. Oh.
God.
Anyway, so TikTok.
So TikTok.
Before we actually start murdering each other.
So TikTok. So yeah, I was a little bit skeptical of it at first. Just because, I was kind of on the side of, when I first started seeing videos of TikTok, I knew
Yeah.
that it was like a merger of like Musically, and already I had notions of Musically that it was like, just all kids who were singing like songs and whatnot. Which to an extent is, like still kind of true. It still kind of like manifests in TikTok now, but like very differently. But I was kind of in the boat of, oh my gosh, it's just going to be a bunch of like cringy 12-year-olds kind of thing. You good?
I tried to finish my water bottle, but it ended up having more water than I expected. So I just ended up drinking a metric crap ton of water, and now it's just taking its toll on me. Oh no!
This water bottle I just drank. Oh my gosh, so overwhelming on my body. It's like work.
Neiman, don't make fun of my pain. I feel like a water balloon.
Well, they do say you're like 70% water, so.
Neiman, I think I bumped those numbers up a bit by like 20%.
Wow, 90% water. Good for you.
I don't feel so good.
Mr. Stark.
Mr. Stark.
I drank too much water, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
Oh my gosh.
I feel bloated.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, according to the memes, that's basically how Peter Parker is, like everyone's child.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we were talking about TikTok, just let's distract myself. Let's distract ourselves from my pain. That's how much water I drank. I can't even speak coherently at this point.
Well, we'll let you rest up, okay?
Yeah, please speak over my pain.
Great, I will do that. So in essence, duet, with duets, it's basically, what Musically was. But that was my initial stance. I saw all the memes. I really, the
30
old
minute mark.
woo.
Woo.
I remember seeing the old phase of TikTok back in 2019, where it was all, I want to be Tracer, all that, and all
No,
the memes.
what pisses me off about that is it's actually a good song.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
from the Living Tombstone. That's how good it is.
Yeah, and
And they
he's an excellent
ruined
artist.
it.
Exactly, right?
Like, if anything brings me more pain than drinking too much water, it's that. It's the fact that that song was ruined by TikTok.
Right. It goes ruining that song on TikTok, childbirth, and drinking too much water. That's the top 3 most painful things in existence,
Oh my gosh.
right? So
Yes.
I remember, seeing all those memes that were all, ironic, and just old TikTok, was something else, I think, and it was, I kind of watched it from an ironic stance of like,
Yeah.
because I grew up with like the Vine phase and all that, and so a lot of people were comparing it to Vine, and whatnot, which looking back, I feel like,
I mean, kind of. It had like it still is having its cultural impact.
oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I don't think it's in the same level as Vine, because Vine was such a substantial like turning point in like just in general, honestly, and like
Absolutely.
in the virtual sense, in the like in the internet culture sense, in the comedy sense as well, since you had
Mm-hmm.
to fit comedy in 7 seconds
Yeah.
and just package it, brand it, and like post it, just like with not knowing if it's gonna catch on or whatever. But like it had such a cultural impact, and like TikTok, yes, it has a cultural impact, but I don't think people are gonna like 10 years from now look back at those times and like like sure, they might like repeat the really really
You know,
catchy or like out
yeah.
there TikToks, like for example, as you said, I want to be Tracer, like that kind of thing. But aside from that, it's still not gonna have like I can
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do something right now, and they were roommates. I
And
bet
they
you
were
anything. I
roommates. Yeah.
like I bet you anything. Just like any viewer out there has heard this term before.
Hmm.
Okay, like it's just out there, and it's so, and it's
Potent.
mind-boggling towards me. It just has such a cultural impact, and I can go on repeating myself. But anyway, we were talking about TikTok.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with all those
Yeah,
points. I mean, the great thing about Vine is that,
was that
or
R.I.P. Vine.
was, heart
You
goes
know
out
what?
to you.
No, we're still gonna talk about it in first person. We're still gonna refer to it as is, because it's not dead. It's still on YouTube and all
That's
those
right.
places. You know
Those
what?
Vine, it's forever commemorated on YouTube.
It's in our hearts.
That's right. But the great thing about Vine is, and I think just the great thing about this generation in particular is that 70 years down the road, someone can just say, "Oh, he needs some milk," and everyone's gonna know what that is. Or
I
two
wanna be a
dudes,
cowboy,
oh
man.
baby, or
Oh,
I love you, country boy.
la.
Or see what else. Two
Up,
dudes sitting in a
chilling in
hot
the hot.
tub.
Oh wait, was it sitting or
I
chilling?
think it's chilling. I don't know.
Two dudes chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet
5 feet
apart
apart
because they're
because they're
not
not
gay.
gay.
Okay, that was Anthony Padilla.
Was that actually
Yeah,
the
I
one in the
know.
hot tub or
Yeah,
the
it's mind. Yeah, no, chilling in the
or
hot tub was Anthony Padilla.
huh? I
It's
did not know that.
like I did not know that.
That's crazy. That
But
is such a
yeah,
trivial piece of information I'll probably never use in my entire life, but it's nice to know
dude,
that
no,
the
it's
one
like
Vine.
it's so trivial, but it's so mind blowing at the same time, because it's like, it's like
Like, whoa, I
I
saw
don't know.
Anthony
It's
Padilla.
oh my gosh. But anyway, what else is there? A potato flew around my room before you. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I'm having a nostalgia attack right about now.
I know. We're like, oh, you almost made me
Oh
drop
my
my
god.
croissant.
Stop! You're gonna drop my croissant! Alright.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that guy.
Road work ahead? Well,
Oh
I sure.
yeah, I sure hope it does. We're gonna probably have like Vine police in the future, like, like patrolling around the internet, seeing who misquotes the Vine.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
Gosh, what else is there?
Um. Oh yeah, I'm blanking now. I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm
those are like
blanking at
the
this
the
point
really
because
big
like,
ones.
yeah, there are so many good
But
ones, bro. But anyway, we were talking about TikTok.
we were talking about TikTok, but
Man, all I
you
want
know,
to say is like I like how you're referring to early TikTok, but like I feel like that's when TikTok actually started catching on because before that there was early TikTok where it was
yeah.
all like eighth graders and like,
Yes, yes, yes,
oh
yes.
my gosh, it was so cringy back then. Like it went from like heart clenchingly cringy to like mainstream cringy to
Yeah.
somewhat mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just
Yeah.
had its own evolution. Because oh gosh, I remember it molding from that to, crappy teenagers singing around and dancing to like underage girls trying to like, get themselves out there or something
Yeah.
like that to like it had its own like meme evolution stage where it was all like thought patrols and furry patrols and all that kind of stuff. And I remember watching them on YouTube and being like, what the hell is going on in that
Yeah, exactly.
like that platform? Like it was
Yeah, and you know what?
internet is scary, man.
Right, exactly. And I was in the same boat. I was like, holy cow, this is, is this what our future's up to? I
Yeah.
wasn't like that, dramatic, but I definitely had similar notions of, what the heck is going on here
Yeah.
kind of thing. And probably like a lot of other people, when I first saw it, I was trying to compare it to Vine, which I think TikTok I feel like has a different cultural impact
Hmm.
than Vine. Like you said earlier, it's not quite as the same level as
Right.
Vine, but has like a different feel. But it actually wasn't until right when quarantine started that I actually downloaded the app. And
Oh. Oh
uh
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I downloaded the app just because I was like, I am bored out of my mind, and probably like a lot of other Gen
Wait,
Zers.
wait a minute. Okay, I'm having like an enlightenment moment,
Oh, please
right?
share.
Okay, okay. I'm like a theory is forming up in my head. The reason why TikTok does not have the same cultural impact as Vine is because it's more susceptible to trends. Okay, now hear me out in this, right? Okay. Now, Vine, you have 7 seconds to do what you must and like move on from there, right? In TikTok, it doesn't necessarily have a time limit, right? So here's the thing, right? When in TikTok, like when in Vine, right? You had like there were trends on Vine, yes, but you still had to do them in 7 seconds. That doesn't give you much to work with, and you know, you can't exactly be unique in that sense. So trends often were given birth to and died around in the same month in Vine, right?
Right, right,
Because just people didn't know how to like deal with the trends, they
right,
just popped up. Some people did some things with it, right? And then it died out.
right.
In TikTok, however, right, people do trends all the time.
Yeah,
Okay, so here's my way of thinking, right? Because the trends are more, prevalent in TikTok, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
People look at TikTok, they scroll down, they see the same, like they see the same format done over and over and over again by the same, like, mainstream crappy teenagers, like over and over and over and over and over again, and they're bored out of their minds, right? That's why it doesn't have the same cultural impact as Vine, because when you scroll down, like, 9 times out of 10, you saw something original that made you lose your mind, that made you laugh so hard that you just had to take a second to catch your breath, right? Like, and it looped as well, so you could literally rewatch it and, like, see, like, and because it was 7 seconds, you could see the funny part that you really liked, and then just move on from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
In TikTok, if there is a funny part that you like, right, and if it's in the end of it, and if it's like a minute long,
Yeah.
you have to, like, wait
You have to
46
wait for
seconds.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
the seconds make all the difference. Man, I'm enlightened, bruh.
Oh my God. Eren is so woke right now.
I'm
It's
so,
like,
like,
oh my gosh, this is the defining moment of your life.
man, my third eye just fluttered for a second there. I just saw the entertainment industry laid out in front of me, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah.
That was very informative, yeah. And you know
Man,
what? I was actually going to bring up a point similar to that, just
right.
because I'm wondering if there's like a literal science to Vine, in that I wonder if like 7 seconds is like the perfect attention span
Mm,
for entertainment. Because I was going to bring up a similar point of of exactly what you said of I think Vine, in that 7 seconds, it's very much, it's almost more artful. Well,
right.
I mean, it depends. But I think it's harder when you have only 7 seconds, as opposed to, I think TikTok has like a 2 minute time limit or something crazy
Yeah.
like that.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense because, like, the human psyche is, in fact, like, programmed into thinking, thinking certain numbers are better than others. For example, like, the rule of three is
right.
prevalent in the, like,
Exactly.
is prevalent in the theater, or, like, is in the books as well, like in show
Comedy.
writing, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Is,
exactly.
like, it's all over the place. Just look at it. Like, you fail twice, you succeed in the third time, or, like,
Right.
for example, you
3 times the
succeed
charm.
twice and you fail the third time. Like, and I do believe that OSP had a trope talk episode. For those of you who don't know, OSP is Overly Sarcastic Productions. It's a great podcast slash, I don't exactly know what it is, but I think it's a podcast as well. And, they're awesome. Just check it out. But yeah, they had a trope talk about the rule of three, which was really intriguing for me, and it made perfect sense as well. And when you look at it from, like, when you look at it in, like, a what's the perfect number to, make comedy happen, just, like, think about this for a second, okay? For the viewers right now, if you're not driving, just close your eyes, or, like, whatever you're doing. Neiman, you too.
Okay, great. Great, great, great.
Okay, visualize the number 10 in your mind for a second, right? I don't I don't believe 10 is, like, a good number for a punchline, because that's what Vine is. It's just punchline after punchline after punchline. It just bombards you with comedy over and over and over again. And that's
Very
why it
true.
has
Very
such an
true.
impact, because it was literally an entertainment punch, right? So 10 seconds is, like, too long for that. It can break your focus right then and there. 5 seconds, on the other hand, you, like, some people might be able to work with 5 seconds, but it's just not workable for most people. And that's what made Vine so prevalent. Literally anyone could jump on a bandwagon and just start doing their own unique thing on Vine.
Hmm.
But when you now visualize 7 seconds, okay? That's a nice number, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Right? Yeah,
okay.
there you go. You can open your eyes now, by the way. And if
Okay,
you were
great.
driving and you closed your eyes. What the hell is wrong with you?
I hope you're alive.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
hope
listening
you're
to
alive.
this
You know
right
what?
now,
Yeah,
great.
survival mode.
Yeah, that's
Current objective: survive.
I'm glad you're crawling out, without your legs inside of a burning car right now, listening to our
Okay, that's
podcast.
a bit too far, my friend.
I'm just
That's
providing visuals.
that's a
Okay.
bit too far, bud.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
I swear to God. But yeah,
My goodness.
but yeah, like 7 seconds is actually really like I don't know how to explain this other than tiny monkey brain and seven good
Like
number.
intuition, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Intuition.
Yeah, and
You know?
that's why I was wondering if there's like a science to that, because I feel
Yeah.
like this could be tested, in terms of like, and I just have, I guess, the little like researcher in me has like so many questions
Yeah.
about this, right? And it's like, well, my first question would be, what's the average attention span of a human,
Like
right?
a human, yeah.
And then looking at, first of all, generational differences. So, do people in the 1950s have a different attention span? Or like, when I say generational, I'm saying like, do 18-year-olds in the 1950s have a different attention span than 18-year-olds now? Because I feel like that would be different.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to just a simple age difference in that, does an 18-year-old now have a different attention span than a 5-year-old versus a 50-year-old kind of attention span? Because I feel like
I remember reading something about that actually, because like the evolution of comedy itself is just really interesting to read about, and like I mean I guess that's why slapstick has survived as long as it did, because slapstick isn't just a punchline; it's in the actions of the actors. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
they, like you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, like
yeah,
slapstick in itself is comedy
right,
because it's comedy in the acting,
right,
right?
exactly. It's all in
Yeah.
the action.
So, yeah, I guess that's why it survived as long as it did, and I don't know how long it will keep on surviving. I hope it does because it's a funny genre. But if it evolves in another way, I'm like, it's it's not our place to go all zoomer, I guess, instead of boomer,
Mm.
and like go like, oh, the new generation, the generation I or the generation P minus 25 is killing the slapstick industry. What are we gonna do in the future?
Right, exactly.
Like it's time is evolution, and like that just doesn't mean the evolution of in a biological sense. It also means the evolution in the form of psychology
Yeah,
and in the form of culture as well.
yeah,
And within
exactly.
culture, there's all entertainment, and entertainment evolves. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, thank you. Clap, clap, clap,
Thank
clap,
you.
clap, clap.
Clap, 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 clap.
That was my impression of the TED Talk sound.
Like this.
It was
TED
very
Talk
bad,
has a
but
sound. Yeah. Man, it was good as long as you believe it was good. Okay. Okay.
yes,
There you go.
thank you. But yeah, and uh, yeah, I feel like in regards to like slapstick, right? A good writer
Mm-hmm.
of anything, and I actually learned this, interestingly enough, writing stand up for the first time. As I was reading, like how to write stand up, right? Something I didn't know, and I am by no means an expert, stand up writer, but I was looking up these tips, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
talked about, uh, basically making it a requirement for yourself to insert jokes at least, every like 10 seconds or so,
Hmm.
give or take, because you have to keep the audience engaged with your piece, because you don't want to, say you don't want to write, like a 2-page setup to a single punchline at the end. You still kind of want to do that, but you want to
Right.
insert mini punchlines,
Right.
every 5 or 10 seconds or
But
so.
I
So
guess that kind of raises the question: what constitutes as a joke?
yeah,
Like, I mean, you can't just go punchline after punchline every 10 seconds.
right,
Like,
right, right, right.
like maybe like a subtle difference in your face with like a, suggestive tone as you
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
towards the
that's
audience, that kind of thing.
yeah,
But like, every 10 seconds. I mean, yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
It
Like
is. And oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
never actually like, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I never actually like written stand up before. Like I have I? No, I have not written stand up before. I've done improvised stand up once in my life, and like like just one and only times, and
Yeah.
that was that. But aside from that, huh? A joke every 10 seconds. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, and it's I think it can be applied really to any form of comedic writing, I think.
Right.
But and obviously there are variants. For example, to take the example we were talking about slapstick, it would be great to, insert a gag, every 10
Right.
seconds or so. And again, it's a very, soft rule. It's not, something you have to hit, but
Mm-hmm.
again, you have to, psychologically keep the audience engaged. And to do that, you have
Right.
to, and at least in a comedy, you have to keep them engaged with, gags and whatnot. So that's
Right.
why
Maybe
a
if
lot
you're
of,
telling a story, maybe like a pull every 10 seconds would be like, I don't know, easier to work with? I'm not too sure. Huh.
yeah. So
It's good to experiment with it, I
yeah,
guess.
there's a lot of different ways you can
Yeah.
experiment. And, that's actually one of the things I regret about, um, you know, doing theater. I regret
Mm.
not taking it upon myself to insert more physical gags because,
Mm.
as a younger actor, I really fell into the high school trap of
Mm.
the words are my jokes, which is totally, I mean, it's true to an extent, but it's not as true as, your acting is your joke, not, the words you say. And yes, you can
Right.
change up how you say a phrase to make it funny, but what matters more is what the people see on stage. And that's something I just didn't realize.
Mm-hmm.
Even up to my senior play, it was very difficult, coming up with physical gags that weren't on or in the script, because that was the, I guess, the fun part about being an actor that I didn't really
Right.
realize until the end, was coming up with things outside of the page,
Mm-hmm.
which was really difficult for me. And I really regret, especially like Get Smart, is it's a slapstick comedy.
Yeah, it's just like,
So
yeah.
that's why I regret not doing more gags and
Right.
whatnot that I should have
Honestly,
done. But
same, except not really. I mean, I was like playing in really old person, so it's
right, right,
like it raises the question, how slapsticky can you get before getting out of character?
right,
But
right.
yeah, I guess, I mean,
But I mean, that is the job of the director after all,
yeah,
so
like just to give it a little nudge. And that's what people often don't understand about the entertainment industry and like, theater and like film and that kind of stuff. Like the director only takes a person so far, and the writer's just like, the writer
right,
is there to give a script and maybe give a point or two to the director every now and then. But aside from that, it's up to the actor to come up with all the actions and all the, like all the little tidbits and the facial
right,
expression.
right,
Like the director can only micromanage so far, and not everyone is like, up to the details and like,
right, right.
really driven to like change every little thing,
Yeah.
as even some of the legendary directors. Like I'm sure there are directors like that, and
Hmm.
I'm I'm pretty sure there are. But aside from that, it's up to the actor to like experiment with their face, experiment with how they say certain things, experiment with how their body moves and how
Right,
they,
right,
like, it's up it's up to them to keep track of their body.
right.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah,
we went off on a wide tangent there.
we did. I mean, we can do a whole other
The
episode on
entire,
just the
yeah,
theory
like
of comedy.
we oh geez,
And
I
that's not even. I was going to mention earlier, but I guess we'll get back to TikTok. But
yeah.
I was going to mention earlier, bringing in the three prevalent theories of comedy as
Mm,
well. But we should probably answer the question first, and then
we
we can.
probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we were. Oh, Vine. That's right, Vine, and
No.
then back to TikTok. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll get. But yeah.
Oh geez.
Right. So I was talking about the science and wondering if that's why, Vine was more successful. That is something I want to
Please remember the point you're trying to make. We hit the 50-minute mark 5 minutes ago. Okay?
Right.
Just
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
that there. Okay.
yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah, just finishing up my Vine point really quick. I'm sorry, I have to. It's bugging me.
It's fine.
Um,
Please do. This is a podcast.
so yeah, again, I'm wondering, if there is a science to that. Again, considering attention spans, and also like the thing we talked about in comedy, like if maybe there's like a certain pacing in comedy that like works, like maybe 7 seconds is like the perfect time kind of thing. And that's why TikTok isn't as successful, or like not, sorry, successful is the wrong word, or as
Like,
iconic as Vine,
yeah,
kind of thing. So there's that. So in terms of like loving or hating it, I like we've talked about and kind of nudged towards, it's obviously not the same as Vine. However, I don't think we should, compare it as
Right.
much to Vine, because it's a different, it's an entirely different style of, performing jokes. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of like comparing, I don't know why I'm using this analogy, but like Minecraft to Terraria, right? A lot of
Yeah,
people
there you
compare
go.
the two games, but they're completely different in their own respective, goals, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I
for
mean, in
example,
Minecraft, you have an infinite world, but it's kind of like, a step-by-step process, where in Terraria, you can literally, like, it makes you feel like you're eventually a god or something like that.
right,
And there's
exactly,
both
right?
such good games.
Yeah, in their own rights,
Yeah.
right? And for different reasons. So it's not really fair to compare them as equal, or as equals, or
Yeah.
like as equivalent games.
Like, they're
Um,
both sandboxy games, but like that doesn't make it okay. I guess, like, okay is not the word, but I'm still gonna use it. It doesn't make it doesn't make it okay for to. Gosh, what is up with me today? It doesn't make it okay to compare those two. Thank you.
yes, yeah. Like it's
Jeez.
not. It doesn't mean one is superior to the other, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Like, Terraria came out like 5 months before Minecraft. That doesn't mean Minecraft, like, stole from Terraria or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah. I guess in layman's terms, apples to oranges would probably be a better analogy for,
There we go. Yeah.
less nerdy gamers like us. But you know, because again, like you said, Vine has the challenge of fitting a setup and a punchline in 7 seconds. Whereas in TikTok, it's well, first off, when we look at the technical aspects, kind of what you said earlier with the trends, right? In TikTok, it's a literal mechanic to duet with someone, or
Right.
use the same exact sound and just add on to it, which is a literal mechanic in its thing, which is why trends are so, I guess, easy to hop on, because you have that function in TikTok that you don't have in Vine. Because in Vine, you have to like copy it yourself, basically.
Right.
But in TikTok, it's a literal mechanic where you just duet it and you upload it, and so that's why it's so easy.
Yeah.
As opposed to Vine. And so in that sense, I think it's unique that you have that function of
Right.
providing a different style of comedy, in that in Vine, you have, if you wanted to recreate a Vine, it's basically just recreating it almost as if it's something in its own right, kind of thing. Whereas in TikTok, you have, there's lots of different things you can do with duets. And if you just take a look at early TikTok, you'll
Yeah.
find hundreds of those TikToks. It can either be like a reaction, or maybe, adding on to something, or, there's the ones where, the person on the right is making a face, and then the person on the left is, responding. There's just hundreds of different
A
combinations.
lot of stuff.
Right, exactly. A lot of stuff you can do with the duet function, which I think in its own right, again, apples to oranges, is way different from Vine, which is something I really like about TikTok, is that, function of, being able to basically change the meme in its
Yeah.
own, by completely changing what it was originally intended for. Or if you want to go the other route, going as intended. I think a great example is, you know, there's this one TikTok of this guy who is like, he's like doing stuff, and then he looks at the camera and he's like, he starts crying because it's supposed to be like him seeing his wife like on the wedding day or something like that, and he like starts crying and he gets emotional and he's like,
Right.
wow, she's so beautiful. And I've seen both versions of where the reactor is either a person in a wedding dress or someone wearing a
Like T-posing.
or like T-posing or while wearing a
A
Barney
Shrek
mask
face, yeah.
or something like that. And then the guy on the right is like, oh my god, she's beautiful,
Oh my
kind of
god.
thing. And so
Yeah.
there's so many different ways you can go it, and so that's why I think TikTok is unique in that respect. And that's why apples to oranges.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because like I was actually going to talk about that at some point. Comparing any like new thing that comes out on the internet to Vine is kind of a bad idea. I mean, it like, yes, Vine is a good place to, like compare it to, because it
Yeah.
was such a substantial part of the culture. But if you compare everything to TikTok, like Vine, and complain that it's just not the same thing, it's just like, I mean, it's just like halting in like the evolution of internet
Right.
culture.
Yeah.
So like, and the funny thing about that is it can't be halted. So it just
Right.
leaves people to be bitter about it,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, as like, it just creates the illusion that we left Vine in the past and we're just like forgetting about it, even though like literally nobody's forgetting about Vine.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like literally, even to this day, Vine compilations are popping up on YouTube left and right. So it's like there's no way people are gonna forget about Vine that easily, unless of course the apocalypse does come by the end of 2020, which it is just
It's very well might.
it's out there, but
Yeah.
like slim chance, So fingers crossed, yeah. But like, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I actually downloaded TikTok for about 3 days before I like uninstalled it, because I needed to make room in my phone.
Yeah,
Whoop-de-doo.
exactly. Be like that.
But like when I did download it and when I did check it out, I remember like being surprised about two things. One was, as you said before, how easy it is to create like your own thing with the duet feature and with the like with the entire features of TikTok. It's just really flexible in that sense. Second off, like its algorithm is really different from Vine in that there is no like hot or new page. I guess I can't really remember so far, but it just like it shows what has caught on and what is like getting likes in a rapid succession. So like, things that are actually funny or things that have actually caught on. And yes, while that does have the bandwagon effect in which, like anyone that does a trend can like go on the hot page or whatever, it still is such a good way to like highlight new content creators.
Yeah.
And I just like it in that sense,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and people can like Vine at the same time while liking TikTok.
Right,
So yeah.
exactly. I think in my opinion, really you can only compare two things if they are trying to serve or have the same function, I
Mm.
guess, right? Like, for example, YouTube and Dailymotion, they're trying to produce the same end goal of just providing a service to provide videos. And one is clearly better than the other. And that's a fair comparison because they're trying to do the same thing in the same
Right.
format. Not if you take TikTok and Vine, yes, they're trying to produce the same result of, entertainment, but they're doing it in different ways.
Yeah.
The the difference is, you know, in YouTube and Daily Motion, they're basically doing the same format. There's not really, you know, it's not like, YouTube is like a search based, and then, Daily Motion is, I don't know, like random based. Then in that sense, I would compare it differently, because they're trying to do their functions in different ways. And,
Right.
that's why I think, it's not really fair to compare TikTok to Vine,
Yeah.
because they
I
have
mean,
such different, technical aspects.
like if TikTok didn't have like the duet feature, or all the other features and whatnot, and was like, hey guys, you have to create a funny environment in 10 seconds or in 5 seconds or in 8 seconds, and like try to have the same effect on Vine, then it would be like,
Right.
it would justify comparing those two.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But they're not. It's two different things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So
yeah. Hour 5 minutes, hour and 5 minutes. So I do believe the last part of the question was, when's the podcast getting a TikTok?
yes. When is the podcast getting TikTok? There's also the can't get enough part. Just really quickly with the can't get enough. I mean, it depends on the day, really, for
Yeah,
me.
there
I
you go.
mean, a lot of times I'm spending,
Like,
at least like an hour every day on TikTok, which is
oh
really
jeez.
sad, because I could be doing
I
other more
mean,
productive
to
things.
be
But
fair, literally every media outlet has that abyss effect where you just start going down into it
mhm.
and you can't get off of it until like an hour, or when someone like reminds you that you have
Right.
something to do. So like, can't get enough of it is a broad term, because
Yes.
there's always like you who sits an hour on TikTok and like does another thing for like 20 minutes or so, and then goes on Reddit and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then there's also like you know the news article can't get enough people, like, he sits 10 hours on TikTok every day. He can't stop creating videos on TikTok. Oh my goodness, help my child. Like that kind of like, there's this kind of can't get enough, and then there's that kind of can't get enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's a
yeah,
difference.
it's a subtle difference. Yes.
Mhm. Yes. Um, in terms of when we're getting a TikTok, I mean, if there's enough, if there's enough people who want a save it for the podcast TikTok, I guess save it for the TikTok.
Sure.
If there's enough people, sure. I mean, I'd be doubtful of making one if we're only trying to entertain a single person.
Mm.
But if there's enough support, by all means.
I mean, we can do it just for the funsies or something like that. Save it for the talking tick. Haha.
Exactly, right. A second podcast where we talk about things in 2 minutes.
Yep. There we go.
Oh
Watch this Turkish asshole. Oh, damn it. Damn it.
my god, that was 3 in a row. You said.
No. Damn it doesn't count. So.
Okay, fine.
Gosh darn it.
Do you have to punish
So,
you?
yeah.
Kidding.
The
I'm
can of
kidding. I'm not
worms
gonna punish
episode.
you.
All right. Watch this Turkish jerk complain about the entertainment industry for 2 minutes.
Wow.
Gosh darn it. I broke the rule again. It's the water, man. It's the water.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, at least it's not the heat this time.
Yeah,
So
it's not the heat.
I'm glad you haven't
because I have the window. Yeah,
destabilized.
I have the window open right now. So
It's all good. It's all good.
it wasn't the heat last time, though. It was a matter of the air being recycled and being blasted in my face. So I was just having like heaps of carbon dioxide just into, and I actually managed to say it this time. Yeah.
Yay!
After the podcast ended, I had a hard time saying carbon dioxide.
That was so funny. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I was like,
I was dying.
carbon. And
that was so funny.
I literally couldn't say carbon dioxide, and I had to Google the word, and still I couldn't say it properly.
As one does.
It was just, oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad you can say it now.
Yeah, carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, everybody. Carbon dioxide.
Yes. But yeah.
Yeah. Final comments on TikTok. or I guess concluding statement on TikTok. It's great in its own respects. You shouldn't compare it to Vine. I personally like it because it's entertaining in a way that you would find books in the way that you would find books entertaining in a different sense from movies. You would find them entertaining in their own respective rights.
Right.
Same thing with TikTok and Vine.
I mean, if you start comparing like, science fiction genre books to fantasy genre books, you're just gonna have like, a bad time, and people are gonna look at you as you're crazy. Oh, but anyway.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're talking about it like in an opinionated sense, as opposed to saying like, science fiction is better than fantasy, period, kind of thing, then it should be okay. I mean, I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, if you prefer Vine over TikTok because it's an opinion, sure.
Hey, man, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm personally neutral to it. Oh, well, it's an entertainment media outlet. I respect that.
Exactly. It's all opinion. So, and again, this is my opinion on TikTok. So, any final words?
Hour and 11 minutes.
Winnets.
Almost said winnets. Yep.
Any final words, Eren?
I said winnets instead of minutes because every minute I spend on this podcast, I win. Haha. I'm severely depressed. Anyway, so.
Wait, what was that? What was that?
What? No. What? What's that?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm being held hostage by an evil.
No, what?
Blink twice.
I'm blinking twice, but the audience can't see me. They're just looking at the perfect logo that is designed by our friend Peter. Peter, if you're listening to this, you're awesome.
My snaps for Peter.
Yes.
Yeah. Call him Saint Peter.
Hey, Neiman.
Like the saint.
Neiman.
Yes, Eren.
What's your name?
My name?
Yes. Say your name.
Didn't you said Neiman.
No.
What's your name?
Hush. What's your name? Say your name.
My name is Neiman.
And my name is Eren, and this has been the Save It For The podcast.
So, all right, buddy.
Whoa there. Hang on a second there, bud. You can't use my words against me. Now listen here, sport.
Listen here, squirt.
Now listen here, you little fishnet. Now, shrimpy.
Listen here, shrimp squirt sport bud.
Now listen here, you little.
Listen here, you little shiza.
Schnitzel biscuit.
Listen here, you little schnitzel.
Oh, listen here, you little beef dingus.
This has been the Save It For The podcast. Like Eren said, that's Eren, and I'm Neiman. Please send us questions. Send us a love email on Gmail.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and give us support us on Patreon. We don't have a Patreon.
Exactly.
This video is sponsored by Raid, Shadow Legends, Sunny, NordVPN. Yep, all those different Skillshare. Not sponsored, but you know what?
Yeah, use our code Tiny Monkey Brain for a free book on Audible.
Tiny Monkey Brain. But yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Whoop whoop.